Hello YouTube, Chef Jess back in the kitchen, and we are finishing off our caramel pie. This is our caramel peanut chess pie that we started yesterday. We actually made the crust, and if you took a look at the recipe, I just finished it off. So I've actually already put my egg replacer inside my panis egg just to give it a nice seal, so when we put our filling in and bake it, it's not going to get soggy over time. So we're here in the kitchen doing our cafe series. So this is where we recreate cakes and bakes from all around the world, vegan, using some of our egg replacer products that we sell here at Vegan Gastronomy. So today we're actually going to be using the panis egg product for the filling. So I did mention this is a take on a chess pie, which is a Southern American pie. So what I'm going to do is show you how to make the filling here today. So it is a caramel, so I'm going to bring you guys in so you can see we're actually going to be making what's called a dry caramel. So I'll pull you guys down so you can see. So in my pan over here, I'll move this out of the way. So basically a dry caramel is where you make a caramel that doesn't have any water added to it. So what I have here is just a hot pan, and I have all of my sugar here, and I like to kind of use a skillet or a fry pan and just kind of, I'm shuffling some of the sugar around so it coats all the bottom of the pan. I'm going to bring my temperature up a little bit, and this is the part where you have to be a bit patient. So we're going to wait until the sugar melts, and then we're going to continue adding our sugar. So whilst we're doing that, we can talk a little bit about the egg replacer that we're using today. So I am using the panis egg product, which is our vegan egg replacer that we produce here at Vegan Gastronomy, and I've already prepared it. Today I've actually prepared it with a little bit of plant milk, but you could use water as well. And then you just let it sit aside for about 15 minutes. And what's unique about this product is it not only has just the one function of binding, which a lot of the traditional vegan egg replacers do, but it replaces all 8 functions. So did you know that eggs had 8 functions? They sure do. So some of those include coagulation, we talked about binding, setting is another one, foaming. So there's lots of things that eggs traditionally do that we need to think about when we're veganizing something. So I can see that my sugar is starting to melt here. I might get the temperature up a little bit. We're going to keep going. So yeah, I just mix that up with a little bit of plant milk and I set that aside. I use some of it to glaze my pie. So I don't know if you can see that, but I actually, after I blind baked my pie crust, I cooled down, and then I just popped it back in the oven for about 5 minutes to set. So that's going to create a barrier, because one of the unique things about eggs is they're both hydrophobic and hygroscopic, which means they're scared of water or they repel water, and they also attract water. So it's going to give us a nice barrier to stop our filling from seeping into the crust, because we want to have a nice crispy crust. And especially if we're going to be selling some of our pie in our cafe or restaurant, we want to be able to keep it in the display case and it's still going to be nice and crispy and not get soggy. So it's going to make it last longer. So this is looking good. We're starting to get some melting. I'm just kind of putting it around the edges. I find it gets quite hot around there. Moving. So some of the other ingredients that we're using in our chess pie, because we are making a peanut chess pie today, I've actually got some peanut butter. So the whole reason that we decided to do a peanut recipe was I bought this huge tub of peanut butter. What better way than to come up with a new recipe? So I have some peanut butter here. It just so happens to be crunchy peanut butter, but you can also use smooth. And I'm just going to combine that with my egg replacer that I have here. So we're going to put those two things together. And this is also going to help stop that caramel from cooking our egg replacer or like making it start to set like caramels. I can smell that, so we're going to put more sugar. Get in there on the edges. So we're making a dry caramel here for you folks who have joined us. So basically a caramel is just sugar which has been caramelized, and then often you'll see that things like butter or cream have been added. So we are actually going to be adding some margarine and some cream as well. Alright, so I can see that my caramel's starting to melt now. I'm actually going to start stirring it now because I know that a lot of it has become liquid. Can you see that? So when you make a dry caramel, it's always going to be a little bit darker than if you make it, say, with water. And one of the interesting facts about dry caramel is you can stir it and it's not going to crystallize on you. So it's one of the added benefits. But whenever you're working with a caramel, you do want to be super, super careful because the temperatures get very, very hot. Like right now, I think it would be at about 180 degrees. So we do want to be super careful. Oh, we've got a gun here. Let's see. Oh, we're at 170 degrees. So there you go. Very, very hot. All right, I'm going to turn my temperature down now. There's just a couple of little lumps that I'm just taking out. Okay, and actually you can use this caramel as like a caramel sauce if you want to. We're putting it in our pie today, but you know, by all means you can use it for many other applications. Okay, so that's all done. I will note I already had put my salt in. I'd mixed it already with my peanut butter, so I'm not going to add salt to my caramel. So in here I have some plant cream. I'm using some soy plant cream today, but you could use coconut if you like. And also some plant milk. So just really careful, guys, when you're adding this in. Stand back. I've got my temperature on low. And you'll notice that it will actually start. So we're just going to move it around until it all melts. So got some big lumpy bits. Really gooey. I think it's one of those things, you know, if you've got a friend or family member or you've asked someone, they say, I don't really like desserts, I don't really like sweets. Well, this actually might be a great recipe for them because it does have those savoury notes from the salted caramel. And I do find a lot of people who are not big fans of super sweet pastries, they do love caramel because you have that bitterness and saltiness, which works really nicely together. Alright, so this is coming together nicely. Almost there with the smoothness. Okay, that's looking good. I'm going to turn my heat off now, guys. Just going to take that off the heat. And I'm going to add my vegan margarine. You could also use like a more firm vegan butter if you like. And that's going to melt right in and also cool our caramel down a bit too. So I want to know, guys, in this series, is there any type of pastry that you've always wanted to veganize, or you know, your local bakery or cafe or restaurant, something that you've always wanted to make vegan, or perhaps you already perhaps you already have your own vegan restaurant or cafe, or traditional restaurant or cafe, and you have something on the menu that maybe is not vegan, you want to veganize it. It's really popular. I'm going to get my whisk out, just give it a nice little whisk. Get all those little bits in. Okay, so ideally you do want to let this sit for about 5 minutes, but we're going to be daring here. We're going to put it straight into our mix here. So I'm just going to do a little bit at a time because I don't want to seize that egg, the egg replacer that we're using, because it will act like a traditional egg in the fashion that it will set when something hot goes in there. So we want to be careful just adding just a little bit at a time of our lovely gooey caramel. And once you've sort of got half of it in, then you can put a lot more in. And kind of increase the quantity as you go. All right, so you can see it's getting runnier now. Oh, it smells so good. You can smell those peanuts from the peanut butter and the caramel. What better combination is that? Caramel and peanut butter. So good. And with that pie crust that we made yesterday, remember we made it, it's like a chocolate chip cookie. So we've got all the American favorites in this pastry. I remember in Australia when we started getting a lot of the American style foods coming in, a lot of the pubs and stuff, we call them dude food. Alright, so we're just going to mix in the last of our caramel there, guys. Oh, we're going back later. So we're basically creating like a custard. That would be basically what we're creating, but this is caramel and peanut. And then we have our pie shell, which we did yesterday. That's our chocolate chip cookie pie. And then we have our filling. So some of the questions you might ask, can I use agar to set this? Well, I'm sorry, but it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. So you really do need a great egg replacer that's going to do all the functions that we're looking for. And that's what I really wanted to bring to your attention in this series, is just really simple and easy ways of how you can recreate all your favorite recipes at home, just using the panis egg, which is our vegan egg replacer. And I will put the link in the description below afterwards. Oh, look at that. Give it a little tap and air bubbles. And I do have my oven on quite low. It's on about 130 to 135. So I'm going to pop that in there for about 1 hour. So it's not going to brown my crust anymore. It's just going to set our filling. So you'll know when it's done, because if you give it a jiggle, it will be set kind of like a custard. So I'm going to go do this now, and we're going to bake this. I'll bring you guys back up. But if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I'll come back on here and show you and try a slice with you and see if you like this. Yeah, let me know in the comment section below if you give it a try. And don't forget to check out our product for panis egg, which is our vegan egg replacer, which replaces egg-heavy recipes so you can make all your classic favorites for your cafe or restaurant. We have it both in sample sizes and production sizes of 10 kilograms or more. And if you're interested in learning more about vegan pastry or baking, come visit us here in Spain in person, or like a lot of my students right now are taking online classes. So we have for both baking and pastry. and I'll put some links down below so you can check those out as well. So yeah, let me know how you go, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!